Boys, it finally happened. It's been 2 years. 2 years of us going back and forth of, is Conor finally going to come back and fight Chandler? I can't believe Chandler's sitting out for 2 whole years. It's been a long ass time, but we finally got confirmation. If you guys haven't seen it, here's Dana White saying it.
Where the fuck is Conor?
Well, Connor's been out too long. So once you're out too long,
Chandler's been out as long as him almost.
Well,
where's
almost.
Chandler? You know what I'm doing? Is Chandler still going to be his opponent?
The other thing,
If
no.
Conor beats Chandler,
No. So,
whoa, you just slid that in. No,
because
Chandler had the 2024 ultimatum. Is that Chandler's choice?
No, Chandler said, "I'm done waiting. I want to fight."
For real?
Mm-hmm.
This is like huge breaking news.
Yeah, come out tomorrow.
It's so crazy how just nonchalant this man just announced that, yeah, Chandler, he's pretty much just said, fuck Conor, give me Oliveira. If you guys don't know, Chandler versus Oliveira, 5-rounders, UFC 309. Am I mad about it? No, I'm honestly very happy that we're finally getting the return of Chandler. We had to, it's crazy how Chandler sat out for not his prime, because he's already past his prime, but he wasted 2 years of solid fighting experience, just solid activity in the UFC for pretty much nothing, And as soon as this news broke, Chandler had a video, so we're going to quickly watch that together.
Let me paint a picture for you. The date is September of 2020.
And we're not watching all this cringy shit, so I'll skip to just the important parts.
At the time that I signed with the UFC, Khabib Nurmagomedov, champion. Justin Gaethje, number 1, fought him. Dustin Poirier, number 2, fought him. Charles Oliveira, number 3, fought him. Conor McGregor had a fight booked. He pulled out. Number 5, Tony Ferguson, fought him. Number 6, Dan Hooker, fought him. That is why I'm fighting Charles Oliveira. See, I think you guys have forgotten over the last year or so who Michael Chandler is.
So pretty much he just goes over, talks about all the guys he has fought back in the past, back like 4 years ago. Talks about all this stuff. You guys forgot who Michael Chandler was. Yes, we forgot who Michael Chandler was because you sat out for 2 years for a fight that was literally never gonna happen. At this point, I'm convinced that Conor was just playing with Chandler so much. I don't know what he has against Chandler, but this man took 2 whole years out of this guy's fighting career, out of pretty much just spite. Yes, you can say, oh, but it was announced, the fight was announced, they signed the agreement. First off, we never seen Conor pull out of a fight. That's just a big red flag. Second of all, you're telling me Conor really pulled out of a Michael Chandler fight, arguably one of the easier fights that he's had in the past 5 years. You're telling me he pulled out of that fight because of a broken pinky toe, which is one of the smallest injuries he's had in his UFC career. You're telling me that's the reason why he pulled out. He didn't pull out because he knew deep down he was just playing with Chandler. He wasn't actually planning on ever fighting him.
I beat Charles Oliveira. I can choose to go fight Islam or Arman. I believe it's going to be Islam. Or if Conor can finally get his house in order and put together a training camp and show up to a fight, maybe I go fight Conor and we finish the Ultimate Fighter 31. This is the ultimate bet on yourself.
So pretty much he goes on, talks about how this is the biggest bet on yourself. I'm putting all my chips on the table. But at the end of the day, let's quickly look at some stats. Charles Oliveira, right now, 34 years old. He's pretty much in his prime, getting towards the end of his prime. He's at the tail end of his career, in my opinion, tail end of his prime. But we go to someone like a Michael Chandler. He's 38 years old now. You're telling me a Michael Chandler, a 38-year-old Michael Chandler coming off a submission loss to Dustin Poirier back in 2022 is going to beat a 34-year-old, fresh, non-ring rusted Charles Oliveira. Yes, coming off a split. That's right, a split decision to the number 1 contender right now, Arman. You're telling me that Chandler is just going to go in there and beat him? Yes, you can say, but Chandler's been training this entire time. He's had a 2-year-long training camp preparing for Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is not Charles Oliveira. I don't understand this move for Chandler, to be honest. I think there would have been a lot better moves for Chandler to come back into the UFC, into the top 5, top 10 than someone like a Charles Oliveira. Yes, I understand, the storyline is there. I guess there's some sort of beef there. He goes on to say he's fighting him because he stole his dream away from him.
For me, this is personal. This is a revenge fight. Charles Oliveira stole my dream of becoming UFC champion, my number 1 goal, becoming the number 1 guy in the entire world back in Houston, Texas, my 2nd fight in the UFC. So now Talked to Henry Hoofter this morning. We're putting together a game plan to go beat him in the rematch. This is always the way it was supposed to be.
I mean, I guess, I don't know what I can say to Chandler. You know, he has a very, very good positive mindset, which is, it's commendable, but at the end of the day, it's very delusional. I don't think he's beating Oliveira, to be honest. He goes on to say, like, I've been training this whole time, you know, I'm getting better and better, but your main focus was Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor and Charles Oliveira, like I said, two completely different fighters, completely different game plans you'll have to implement to fight this guy. I don't see it working out for him. And to be honest, in my opinion, this is just so funny. It could have been one of the better fighters in this 155 division. We saw that fighter slowly fade into almost nothingness. You know, he says he had more eyeballs on him than ever before with his contract, fighting Conor McGregor, the Ultimate Fighter, all the interviews, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, you were chasing a fairy tale that was never gonna happen. I can pretty comfortably say Conor McGregor is never fighting again. I think this is the nail in the coffin to anyone who truly believes that Conor is coming back to fight. I don't think he's coming back to fight anybody. Dana has came back and said, you know, Chandler's next fight isn't Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor's next fight is Michael Chandler. So regardless of if he comes back or not, I don't know how well that fight's gonna do. Let's just say somehow Michael Chandler gets it done over Charles Oliveira. I guess, yeah, the fight for Conor is gonna get bigger and bigger, but it's already like a super fight at the end of the day because you have Conor McGregor attached to it. So it does nothing for the Chandler versus Conor fight, in my opinion. The only thing it does do, if he does beat Chandler, he gets the title shot. Easy as that. There's no doubt in my mind that he doesn't get a title shot after that fight. And to be honest, like I said, I made a video a little while back. I'm sick of the rematches for Islam Makhachev. I personally think Islam's gonna beat Arman. Let's just say Charles Oliveira loses somehow to Michael Chandler. That's a new fresh matchup. I would not be mad about that whatsoever. But at the end of the day, we're living in fairy tale land again. At the end of the day, Michael Chandler is going to get put to sleep by Charles Oliveira yet again. And then after that, does anyone care to see him versus Conor McGregor at all? I don't know, to be honest. I don't think so. I don't think Conor's ever fighting again, to be honest. I think his mind's elsewhere. I think he's just a cracked out alcoholic who's, you know, the drugs have been talking to him too much. He's trying to live those glory days, you know, coming out, walking out to thousands and thousands of fans cheering your name to where he is now. Of course, he's going to try to get some bit of that high back by doing all these crazy ass drugs. At the end of the day, Conor McGregor is no longer a UFC fighter. He's a borderline alcoholic and drug addict. It is what it is. We have to learn to accept that that's the world we're living in now. And yeah, am I happy you are getting the return of Michael Chandler? Of course. It's always fun to have Michael Chandler in. I don't think you can count a single one of his fights being a boring fight. So of course, happy to have him back. At the end of the day, you have to clown this man for wasting 2 years of his career just to fight someone that he probably could have fought before, to be honest. He did not need to wait 2 years to fight Charles Oliveira. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, you guys have to let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think of this? Are you guys excited to have the return of Michael Chandler? Do you think Conor McGregor is ever coming back? Because like I said, in my opinion, that boat has sailed years ago. He ain't ever coming back unless it's like a layup opponent. We honestly, at this point, we should have just listened to him back in, I believe, like it was so long ago. But we should just listen to him and gave him Diego Sanchez, to be honest. At least we could have got a more active Conor McGregor than the one that we have now. But it is what it is, regardless. Conor is still on Twitter, you know, saying he wants a date. Like, he still wants to fight Chandler. Let me find the tweet itself, actually. He said Chandler saw that takedown getting stuffed and mauled and officially dipped. That little fat pussy. I'm at the Hard Rock Hotel, Florida at the Bare Knuckle tonight, getting tested earlier today by DFSI. Give me a fucking date. At the end of the day, Conor's just talking. You know, this is what he's been doing. This is what he's been doing since the Floyd fight. This is what he's been doing his whole career, but majority of it has been like since the Floyd fight. He's been talking about fighting everybody. I want to fight this guy. I want to fight that guy. I guarantee Conor McGregor has called out everybody in the top, at least a top 5 of featherweight, lightweight, and maybe even welterweight, to be honest. But at the end of the day, this man isn't a fighter anymore. He's a drug addict, borderline alcoholic man. So it is what it is. Do you guys ever think he's going to fight again? Because in my personal opinion, I do not. I think it's over. I think, you know, the Conor McGregor hype train is officially gone. Could he still sell out a fucking pay-per-view? 100%. But this man just doesn't want to fight. It's as simple as that. And yeah, boys, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.